Hello everyone, welcome to Advanced Knowledge Systems and a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy, and it offers examination coaching for UPSC CSC, State Public Service Commission, SSC Combined Graduate Level and CLAT examination. And about me, I'm Sandeep Bhushan Tumala, and I take up the analysis of the Hindu newspaper, that is the daily news analysis of today's, that is of 19th of April 2021. And throughout my session, I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases from the Hindu newspaper, wherein we will try to identify the factual, analytical and conceptual questions which will be critical for UPSC prelims examination. And while you get into the mode of imbibing the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing for the mains examination, your answers would be precise and concise, and thereby you will score higher marks in the mains examination. So this session at AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis will certainly help you to crack both the prelims as well as mains for the year 2021. And before we get into the DNA of the newspaper, we would be now focusing on the quote of the day. And the quote of the day says that decide, commit, focus, and then succeed. That means first you decide your goal and then be committed towards your goal. Have focus about your goal, then certainly you will succeed what you want to attain, or you will have success in regards to your goal. And now we'll get into the DNA of the newspaper. And here, the keyword what we would be focusing here is that the indigenous inhabitants in Nagaland. So this is a keyword or the key phrase which we'll be focusing. And this, in regards to this, for the indigenous inhabitants in Nagaland, the Nagaland government has decided to form a JCC, that is Joint Consultative Committee, and this Joint Consultative Committee will involve the traditional tribal bodies of Nagaland, civil society or organizations, and this will, the JCC will get into the exercise to register the state's indigenous habitants. So that means the Joint Consultative Committee will get into the mode of, or get into the exercise to register the indigenous habitants of Nagaland staying in Nagaland state. So this is the exercise taken up by the government, that is the Nagaland government, and hence they have decided to form a Joint Consultative Committee. And this Joint Consultative Committee will be headed by an Home Commissioner, and you will have the members of the Joint Consultative Committee from the Central Nagaland Tribes Council, and also from the members of Eastern Nagaland People's Organization, and the third one is Tenimi People's Organization. So from these councils and organization, the Joint Consultative Committee will have its members, and the committee will be headed by the Home Commissioner Abhijit Sinha. And the purpose is to go ahead with having an exercise to register the indigenous inhabitants, that is indigenous peoples of Nagaland. This is the exercise taken up by the Nagaland government, and it was launched in July 2019. That means the exercise for the indigenous inhabitants of the state was launched by the Nagaland government or it was in the form of RIIN, that is Register of Indigenous Inhabitants of Nagaland, so that they would identify the non-inhabitants of Nagaland. And this RIIN is seen as a different variant, that is different or abnormal, which an exercise has been taken up in Assam, that is Assam's NRC. Please do understand here, you had an National Register of Citizen in Assam, and wherein there were 3.3 crore applicants to make sure that they would, or they determine themselves as the citizens of Assam. But out of 3.3 crore, there were 19.06 lakh people were excluded from the National Register of Citizens, and this is in regards to the Assam. Now when we are focusing in regards to the Nagaland government has launched the Register of Indigenous Inhabitants of Nagaland. So please do understand that we are taking into consideration of what has happened or taken up exercise in Assam, that is through NRC, and now in regards to the Nagaland, in identifying the indigenous people of Nagaland, the Nagaland government has launched the RIIN. So we have different kinds, or that is in Assam, to identify the citizen of Assam, NRC was conducted, and now the Nagaland government has gone ahead with constituting a JCC, that is Joint Consultative Committee, in regards to identifying the indigenous inhabitants of Nagaland through RIIN. So this is crucial because there could be a possibility that which among the following statements in regards to the Nagaland identifying the indigenous inhabitants was launched by the Nagaland government. It is RIIN, and this in regards to the identifying the RIIN, the Nagaland government has taken the cutoff date for the identifying or determining the permanent residents, that is PR of Nagaland. Taking into consideration of the cutoff date is December 1st, 1963, and this is again crucial for prelims UPSC perspective, that which among the following dates are being considered by the Nagaland government and which they wanted to take the cutoff date for determining the permanent resident of the state. So it is December 1st, 1963, and this Register of Indigenous Inhabitants of Nagaland, which is now launched by the Nagaland government, will identify the non-Nagas and also the outsiders Nagas who are or who have entered into Nagaland and who are being disguised as Nagas living in Nagaland. Now they would be left out through the process of Register of Indigenous Inhabitants of Nagaland. So the main intention or the exercise of the RIIN is to identify or determine the non-Nagas and outsiders who have entered into Nagaland and they have been disguised as living as Nagas in the area, that is in Nagaland. By determining the permanent residents, they would make sure that the non-Nagas and outsiders will be left outside. So here the main intention is to identify the indigenous inhabitants of Nagaland. So this is crucial in regards to the kind of NRC which was taken up in Assam, and now the Nagaland government which has launched the RIIN. Now we'll get into the another news which is in regards to the Delhi High Court asking the IRDAI, that is Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India. So the Delhi High Court has asked the IRDAI to explain about its approving insurance policies, because the Delhi High Court would wish to know from IRDA that what are the basis which the policies, that is in regards to the insurance policies, have been approved, which are now the insurance policies are excluding the mental conditions from the full coverage of the insurance policies. So this is the main intention of the Delhi High Court asking the IRDAI to explain the basis of the insurance policies in regards to approving while they are excluding the mental condition. And Justice Pratibha M. Singh has spoken about, or she has mentioned about the explanation of approving the insurance policies, taking into consideration or having a scrutiny or examination from an act called as Mental Health Care Act of 2017. So please do understand here the two keywords, that is Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India and the Mental Healthcare Act of 2017, because the issue or the Delhi High Court has looked into the approving of the insurance policies by examining the Mental Health Care Act of 2017 and asked the IRDAI to explain about the insurance policies which are approving but excluding the mental conditions. And while focusing on the Mental Health Care Act of 2017, the Delhi High Court makes it very clear that there is no discrimination between the mental illness and the physical illness, and as there is no difference mentioned in the Mental Healthcare Act of 2017 in regards to the mental illness and physical illness, the insurance provided in respect thereof. So definitely the explanation is asked by the Delhi High Court to the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India to explain about why the insurance policies which have been approved are now excluding the mental conditions, wherein in the Mental Healthcare Act of 2017, there is no discrimination about mental illness and physical illness. So the another keyword is about understanding the difference between mental illness and physical illness. And the court, Delhi High Court, has given a direction or has come up with the direction and asked the IRDAI to explain about the issuing of the insurance policies based on a petition filed by a petitioner called as Subhash Khandelwal, and he has gone ahead with challenging the insurance policy, that is insurance company of Max Bupa Healthcare Insurance Company Limited, and he has raised this issue or he has filed a petition in the Delhi High Court against the Max Bupa Health Insurance Company Limited, because when he has raised a claim with the insurance company in regards to its mental illness, then he has realized that in the policy there is a clause that it is restricting the sum of rupees 50,000, wherein there is a condition which is mentioned in case of mental illness there would be restricting the sum, that is the sum assured which he is claiming from the insurance company because of his mental illness from the Max Bupa Health Insurance Company Limited, as he has petitioned in the Delhi High Court against the insurance company which is not assuring or which is restricting the sum of 50,000, and in turn the Delhi High Court has asked to explain about the approving of the insurance policies by the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India. And here the Delhi High Court, we need to again underscore that it has scrutiny or it has gone ahead with the examination and scrutinized the Mental Healthcare Act of 2017. So these are the two keywords and the key phrases, IRDAI and Mental Healthcare Act of 2017. And now we will look at another news which talks about the Castro or Raul Castro has said, or he has taken a decision on April 16, 2021 that he would be stepping down as the head of the Cubas. Cuba is a island, it's a country. Stepping down, Raul Castro stepping down as the head of Cuba's Communist Party, and while he has taken a decision of stepping down, now it ends an era of former leadership which began in the year or during the 1959 revolution in Cuba, which it started from by his brother Fidel Castro. That means it was Fidel Castro right from 1959 revolution which was heading the Cuba's Communist Party, and later on it was Raul Castro, and now the 89-year-old Raul Castro has made an announcement of stepping down at the opening of the 8th Congress of the ruling party, that is the Cuba's Communist Party. So this is in regards to international relations, how there is a change which is happening even in the formal leadership which began in the year 1959 revolution in the Cuba. And Mr. Castro's retirement means that he is stepping down, and his retirement means that it is for the first time in more than 6 decades that Cubans or the Cuba country will not have the Castro family formally guiding the affairs of the country. And in turn, the change was expected from the people of Cuba, that there should be a reform, there should be a change in the Cuba's Communist Party head. Therefore, Castro's retirement for the first time, that is right from 1959 or 60s, that now the Castro's family will not be formally guiding the affairs of the country. And in turn, this was expected. And he said, that is, the Raul Castro has said that he is retiring with a sense of having fulfilled his mission and confident in the future of the fatherland, that is Cuba. So this is the Castro's family now stepping down formally from the Cuba's Communist Party, which has ruled or which has been formally guiding almost 6 decades. And there is another news in regards to the PLI scheme, that is production linked incentive. And we have seen that the government of India in the first week of April 2021 has approved the production linked incentive for white goods. So this is the keyword. PLI and the white goods are the keywords in this analysis, which is now pertaining to economy. So the PLI, that is the production linked incentive scheme, has been approved by the government for white goods. So white goods, which are the goods which comes under the white goods? That is air conditioners and the LED lights, which were authorized by the or approved by the government of India to link it with the production linked incentives, that is air conditions and LED lights. And they have come up with an outlay of 6,238 crores, and the government of India will implement this PLI scheme for white goods starting from the year 2021-22 to 2028-29. So the production linked incentive for white goods would be starting from this year, that is 2021-2022 to 2028-2029. So this is a critical information for prelims UPSC perspective in regards to the PLI scheme for the white goods, which are ACs and the LED lights. So these are the crucial information for the prelims perspective, and this has been notified by the department called as Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, which has notified the PLI scheme for ACs and LED lights. Please do understand here a keyword, that is notified. So which among the following departments have notified the PLI scheme for white goods, that is ACs and LEDs, with an outlay of 6,238 crore, which will be implemented over an year or over 2021 to 2028, is been notified by DPIIT. So this is a crucial information, that is the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade has notified the PLI scheme for the white goods. And we will look at what, while notifying the PLI scheme for the white goods, what did the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade has said about the scheme. It said that the selection of companies, so they would select the companies which would avail the incentive, that is in regards to the PLI production linked incentive, would be done, and the PLI scheme incentives would be available to the companies which support the manufacturing of components which are not made in India. Please do understand, this is the analysis, conceptual analysis, which is for the prelims as well as mains perspective. That means the DPIIT will go ahead with selecting the companies which will be having or which can avail the PLI scheme is the companies which will support the manufacturing of the components which are not made in India presently. Please do understand here the keyword is manufacturing of components, not in regards to the trading of the components. Please do understand it is manufacturing of the components which are not made in India presently. And it also said that just mere assembly of the finished goods. That means just you have traded the goods from some other countries or the other country offshore, and then you have assembled the goods. So those goods doesn't come under the white goods, and it doesn't have the PLI scheme which will be availed to the companies. So the companies which are just assembling the finished goods will not be incentivized. This is the crucial information, that mere assembly of the finished goods, those companies which are involved in the assembly of the finished goods will not be incentivized, and the companies which are investing in the basic core components will get a higher priority. So here the DPIIT has said that the companies which are investing in the basic or core components in regards to the manufacturing would get the higher priority, and the companies which are involved in the assembly of finished goods will not be incentivized. Please do understand there are two scenarios which we need to look out from this. So the first scenario is this, that companies which are involved in mere assembly of finished goods will not be incentivized, and the companies which are investing in basic core components would get a higher priority in regards to availing the PLI scheme. And the incentive for beneficiary here in this regards, the DPIIT has said that the incentive for beneficiary will be applicable on incremental sales. So this is the keyword. So how does the PLI scheme for the beneficiary will be applicable? It will be applicable based on the incremental schemes of, please do understand, of the manufactured goods, but not on traded goods. That is as distinct from traded goods. That means the incentive would be to the companies which support the manufacturing of components, who are investing in the basic and core components, but not to the one who are mere assembling the finished goods and which are part of the traded goods. And this incremental sales will be applicable over the base year taking into consideration, that is 2019-20. So here the point is the base year which will be taken into consideration for the incentive for beneficiary is the 2019-20, and it would be based on the incremental sales of the manufactured goods, not on the traded goods. And the DPIIT has also said that there would be support under the schemes, or the support under the scheme will be provided to companies or entities which are engaged in manufacturing of components. That is, as we discussed, which the companies will be investing in the basic or core components, and the companies which will be supporting the manufacturing of the components of the white goods, that is ACs. So particularly when we are looking about the components of ACs, that is in regards to the copper tubes which the companies or entities are engaged in manufacturing, in copper tubes, aluminum foil and compressors, and the companies or entities which are engaged in the manufacturing of the LEDs. That is in regards to the chip packaging, and also which are the components which are resistors, ICs, that is the circuits, and the fuses. So all these which are part of the LED lights, white goods, that is ACs as LED lights, this scheme would support to the companies or entities engaged in manufacturing of copper tubes, aluminum foil, compressor pertaining to ACs, and LED chip packaging, resistors, ICs and fuses related to LED lights. That is in regards to overall the white goods. So we are focused in regards to how the DPIIT has notified the PLI schemes for the white goods, that is ACs and LEDs. So this is crucial for economy, both for prelims as well as mains perspective in regards to the role of DPIIT in notifying the PLI schemes for the white goods. So I hope this session was informative, knowledgeable, and also critical for mains and prelims of UPSC. So I would say a very big thank you to all. Good luck to you all. Do maintain consistency, stick to your schedule, and take care of your physical health and mental health. And do not forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe the AKS IAS Academy English Medium YouTube channel, and also have access to the website Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy, that is Advanced Knowledge System. And see you again tomorrow with the daily news analysis at AKS IAS Academy. Till then, thank you, goodbye, and then take care.